Today's video, we're going to talk about user abandonment software and that allows you to email any site visitor that comes to your site anything you want. So literally, this isn't clickbait. Literally what you can do, wanted to email people that just come to your website but you don't know what their email address is, you can actually put a pixel on your website and email anybody who comes to your website directly. Now, with the method I'm going to talk about in today's video, you do not have the email address, but through a third-party service, Customers.ai, you can actually put a pixel on your website, and then through this particular service, you can email people that just come to your website, okay? This is great for B2B type services, but also, just consumer businesses, even if you have an e-commerce website. And I'm going to tell you specifically how you can make more money doing this in this particular video as well. If you stay to the end of the video, I'll go over a couple case studies where we already implemented this software on a couple clients' websites and then the results we got out of it as well. And of course, some best practices and so forth. So this is a very cool software that I didn't even know existed for a long time. I've been doing online marketing for 20 years. And it was just in the last couple of years that I figured out this software works. And I see the results for myself. I had to make a video about it. With that said, I'm going to go into all those details. But before I do, if you don't know who I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, a online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for their clients. That is, will charge only after getting a client a certain minimum lift in their profitability up front on their campaigns. And basically, so more profit in excess of the management fee before there's any kind of management fee, are the only agency on the planet who offers any kind of similar guarantee out there, which should tell you something about the quality of the information you're receiving on this particular video. This software lets you put a pixel on your website, and as I mentioned before, that pixel will let you email people who come to your website, just straight out, okay? Now, there isn't a 100% match rate here, all right? Just like if you upload an email address list that you want to target with ads to Facebook, to Google, wherever, you get something called a match rate. And that match rate is the rate in which your email address list matches up with the services email list. So when you sign up for a Gmail account or Facebook account, you have to give them your email and or phone number. They match that up with your customer list, and then they know, I know that person you're trying to target with an ad. This works basically the same way, except there's nothing to upload, obviously, in this case, but the system only has so many user email addresses. They have third parties naturally with other data warehouses where they can actually, when somebody comes to the website and they see that user come through from a certain IP address, relying on the IP address, they can go to a third-party service, find out what that email address of that user is from that particular IP. They would have had naturally by somebody filling out a form somewhere, and from that IP it was sent to a data broker, which this service calls the data broker for that information as to the email address of the IP address of the user who visited your website. And then with that, you can actually use the service. You can have it all pre-planned, pre-programmed, fire out an email within 15 seconds, a minute, an hour after the person hits your website. Now, and it can be customized. And you can have the email address say that basically anything you want. You can have your email account hooked up to this software and send out your custom email, which I'm going to give you a script here that's going to get you, for sure, additional sales out of the existing traffic you have coming to your site right now. So with that said, you're going to get about 20% match rate. So 20% of the users who come to your website will be able to get an email, whatever you want to send them. A personal email mentioning how you can help them is the most ideal. Now, this service, by the way, just as a small side, you will get an opportunity to send them something in the physical mail as well. If you want to send a postcard, a book package with your book in it, whatever it is, to get sales out of those people. Because some of you guys, naturally, you are doing business in markets where you're paying 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a click to get somebody to your landing page on your website. To not send somebody a $1 letter out in the mail to try to convert that person into a customer, you're throwing your money away with those kind of costs per clicks, if you will. 20% match rate, so in other words, there's only 20% of the people on your list where you're able to actually send an email address or email out so to say. From what I've experienced with these clients that we've had that tried it out, we haven't done it for our own firm yet, 20% response rates on top of that, or roughly thereof. So of the people who get the email address, at least with the script I'm giving you here, if you write your own email, bets are all off. And maybe you certainly could beat mine. I never have the ultimate answer to everything. I just understand how things work from other places, and then I get to move stuff that was working, let's say on a live chat over here, which is what we did. But anyway, it's 20% of 20%. So with that said, you're not getting that many people to respond, but that extra little bit of response actually makes a lot of difference, particularly in you guys' markets where you're only getting like let's say 2% of people to turn into a lead. This actually can have the potential to give you a 25% or more increase in your lead flow on the same exact traffic you have coming to your website. Here is the script that I would recommend you use in order to get the intended effect out of the software and for what they're charging for. I will admit the software is not cheap. You're gonna have to pay a couple $100 a month to use the software. But if you're getting, you're spending anything over $5,000 a month in terms of advertising, it's gonna be very hard for you to not get a return on your investment there, so to say. That's kind of seems like the cutoff. Here's the email that you want to go out to the users. And by the way, it's the email where it's coming from isn't coming from your email address. It's gonna say the name of the service. Ultimately, when they reply, it comes to your email address. You will get a response. It won't burn out your email reputation sending out all these emails, which is what you would ultimately want. Yes, you would get a higher response rate if it came from your email address. You're going to burn out the reputation of your email server or email address that you're sending emails from, and then you wouldn't be able to send email out to anybody else. Or if it was a fresh email, then you wouldn't get very far with it because there's no good emails naturally going out of that email address as well. So you're going to burn the reputation out even quicker. This service sends out the email for you on your behalf on whatever time delay that you want. And it'll say it's coming from you, but also on behalf of the service. The script that you're going to want to use to get these kind of response rates is, hi, I know you were interested in insert the name of your product. Insert the name of your product again, product expert. What do you plan on using your product for? ? You want to do something the same way. It's not going to be any different. The main reason for this, and you leave it an open-ended question like this, is because A, it looks like a human did it. B, it actually gives the user something to want to respond to. When you guys email out and you say, hey, tell me about your budget or some other bullcrap like this, people don't want to talk to a salesman. That's what it looks like when you get that kind of response. If you got somebody that's just trying to help you, of course you want to reply. The first step should always be to try to just do whatever it takes to get them to reply or respond. You can actually do the sales stuff later on, okay? So that's your script. Now, before we get into the case studies here, if you want somebody to help you set this up, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I can guide you through the process. I can also give you a number of strategies you can use to make your ads better or set up a new campaign while you're at it. We can give you a guarantee of results along with it. If you don't like working with ad agencies per se, like what we have here, we also have been selling ad templates. So we've worked in over 100 different niche markets in the last 10 plus years of running the firm. And then with that, we got the results in your niche, and we worked in your niche before. You could literally buy from us the winning ads, landing pages, campaign templates, all of it that work for your niche market already. And you could copy paste those into your own ad accounts and get the same results we're getting or have gotten in the past. Obviously cut out all the time that it takes for you to get those results, all the money it took for us to figure out over the years how to run the best ad in your market. And you would at least do yourself a huge favor reaching out to us and see what results we got in your market so you would know what you stand to gain with it. Ultimately, we got people using these templates to start whole other businesses from scratch, whether they're doing lead selling businesses, whether they are doing subcontracting of services, they just have a little website and they subcontract out the work, whether they get into selling product for the first time and they want to order a product from China that our client sells, but sell it in a country that our client's not in nor ever will be in, and have a turnkey campaign to go along with what you're doing, by using the template, so to say. The easiest way to start a business is to start with the winning ad campaign that works for that business and that that the product or service will sell right up front. If you're interested in any of those other opportunities, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com, and I will also let you know what we have in terms of niches that we've been in, the pricing, of course, along with it. So with that said, again, in terms of case studies, we had a product design company. So this is a company that basically, if you have a new product idea and you need an engineering firm to make the product, the sketches, building it out in a CAD program, getting it all ready to send so you can get it manufactured. Okay, essentially. from idea to manufacturer ready. Once we instituted this particular tracking pixel on their website, from the inquiries that they had already coming in, which I admit a lot of this success just comes from their website not having enough strong call to actions on their website, which I try to get them to do more there, but sometimes I can suggest and clients don't want to do it because it looks tacky or whatever. We had a 26% increase in total inquiries by adding that pixel on there in terms of number of form fills and phone calls they had before. The amount of those inquiries that they got went up 26% once we added this to our overall marketing plan, so to say. So if they responded to the email, then we counted that as an extra inquiry, so to say. With that said, we also had a mailbox company that sold a variety of different mailboxes. That's what their niche is. And we had a 13% increase in overall inquiries when we instituted it on that kind of site, or for an e-commerce business, which shows you can actually make a lot of money just using this for an e-commerce site as well. It doesn't have to be just like B2B selling to businesses and the like. Now, with that said, okay, some people I've noticed have the idea to use, like if you're an e-commerce business particularly, a discount in order to get people to respond. Oh, I noticed you're on our website. We'll give you 10% off to buy. And this is actually traditionally done with email retargeting. Like if you have an e-commerce site, you're running Shopify, there's an app you can install, somebody gets to your shopping cart and then abandons, it'll send them an email. And then typically all that everybody does there is they send them a discount link or a discount code, sorry. But in that instance, it actually works pretty well because there's no more convincing to do. If they haven't bought yet, they probably either the main thing is they just can't afford it or they want to see if there's something cheaper out there. If they haven't got to the shopping cart, it's because they don't know the value or they don't know if it's the best one in the market, mostly, because that's where they're at. If you go at them with, here's a 10% discount code in order to buy from us, and it only is going to last for the next 24 hours, which if you're going to do it, that's the way you want to do it. You got to have a time limit on it. Otherwise, it ain't going to get you near the response you're going to want. You'll get a third of the response without no time limit on it like that. With that, you don't want to, and I know because I've tested this already, so I'm not just making this up. You'll be better off asking an open-ended question about what they need to buy it for or why they need to buy it or what their question is about that particular item, giving them a discount. And you could set this actually up so that you have different responses for different pages on the website that they go to through this service. You literally can have the name of the product they were looking at in that email. And just to mention about like the creepiness factor of all this, number one reason why people won't use this is they say, it'll be creepy, it'll turn off my users. Well, I had this same complaint with live chat even. We do live chat the same exact way and it works tremendously to double, triple the amount of chats we're getting. To say something like this on the chat versus, if you have any questions, please reach out to me, I can help. You'll literally get a 1% or 2% response rate in terms of the chat up to a 5 doing that. We've done this over and over and over again now. This is like no different. It's just the same thing reused. And it also, when you email something like this, it looks human. It doesn't look like an automated email spam, which is going to make it more likely they're going to reply, so to say. But in terms of creepiness, a lot of people will say, you can't even do this on a live chat because people will be like, oh, they're going to be creeped out that we actually know what they're looking at, so to say. Fine. Some people may not like it. The old saying is in the marketing space or advertising space is, if you're not annoying at least some people that you're targeting, you're not going aggressively enough. There should be 1% of the people who complain if you're really taking things to the maximum level. If you're trying to get 0 complaints about everything you do, then you're ultimately going to just not make that much money. So you can limit yourself. That's your choice ultimately, but something is always going to piss at least somebody off. And if you go super corporate, just corporate looking on everything in terms of your marketing, your results are just going to be garbage. I mean, I hope you have a lot of repeat customers you can rely on because getting new customers is going to be hard. So anyway, you could make your own opinion or mind up on that. I haven't seen anybody emailing back and be like, how the hell did you get my email? But I also haven't been digging into the email responses that deep in it. Worst case scenario, you could just undo it. Go ahead and give it a try, see how much more you're making, see the complaints, weigh the number of complaints you have compared to what you're making in addition now to what you had before, and then make your own mind up as to whether or not you're going to do it or not. And if you like this particular technique, I've got tons of other techniques on this particular channel that you can review. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you should. And this is coming from somebody who spends 40 hours a week doing ad strategy at our firm as my sole job. I go through everything I find that works, what doesn't work, and give it to you here for free, which is unique because most of the information you're going to get from other YouTubers here are not given to you by people who actually run any ads. They're affiliates, they're trying to make money off of ads, they're trying to sell courses. They're not doing the job I do, which is you're a key strategist at a marketing for, or advertising firm with tons of clients. And I literally have to spend my weekends going over all the results that work because I have to spend all week just working on client strategy. So in terms of learning from somebody, this is the best place, or at least should start here. So you should subscribe if you haven't already. You should also check out my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. You'll find my blog actually even better than the videos if you go check it out. Mainly for a lot of people, it's because I actually list everything step by step with screenshots with everything else. So if you want to check that out, and if you want to make as much money as possible, you should check that out as well. As a small side as well, I just wanted to also mention that if you have any questions about anything that I'm talking about here in regards to the software or any ad or marketing related question, you can always leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. So with that said, now those are the two case studies that I wanted to mention where the results were pretty sizable. There are some companies where the amount of increasing inquiries you're going to get is like 5%. And so I don't want to say this is something you can expect as a default here. What I'm suggesting you can do is test it out for yourself. They even give you a 7-day trial, by the way. Granted, it's hard to set everything up and see the data in that amount of time, but try it out for a month and just see if it works out for you or not. Ultimately, again, if I'm spending more than $5,000 a month in ad spend, I'm going to be doing it because the extra, if you think about it mathematically, $5,000 for $200 a month worth of service fees, that's going to be around 5% of your overall ad budget. At that point in time, it's probably going to pay for itself, and especially if it's 1% or less of your ad budget, then it's really going to pay off. So if you're just starting out, yeah, ultimately it may not make sense. Basically picked all the low-hanging fruit in your market in terms of running ads, and you got a decent campaign rolling, I would absolutely recommend it. The only time I would not do it is if I was in a certain niche where people might be a little pissed off. Like if you were selling penis enlargement pills, I wouldn't be doing it. You know, that might be a little bit weird or whatever. But, you know, you don't have that issue, then damn well do it. And at least see for yourself if it's going to give you a return on an investment. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching as usual, and I'll see you in the next one.
Remember when I said shopping cart was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.